ठीक है
DPUT Professor Shamsundar Patnaik to welcome Honorable Chief Minister of Odisha, Shri Naveen Patnaik with a bouquet. I would request Professor Patnaik to kindly welcome Honorable Minister of State, Food Supplies and Consumer Welfare, Skill Development and Technical Education, Government of Odisha, Shri Sanjay Kumar Das Verma. I would also request Professor Patnaik to welcome Graduate Chairman AICT New Delhi, Professor Anil Dattatreya Sahasrabudhe with a bouquet. I now would request esteemed Registrar Deputy Professor Altaf Khan to kindly welcome Professor Ellen Gupta, IAS Principal Secretary to Government, SD&T Department. I further request Professor Khan to welcome Professor R.P. Singh, Secretary General, Quality Council of India. I now request Professor Sangram Mudali, Director in IST, to kindly welcome Professor Shamsundar Patnaik, Vice Chancellor, DPUT Odisha. I now request Professor Khan to welcome Professor M.P. Punia, Director, NITTR, Chandigarh. I now request Director Curriculum Development DPUT Professor Partha Sarkar to kindly welcome Professor Mohammad Altaf Khan, Registrar DPUT. I now request Professor Sarkar to welcome Professor Sangram Mudali, Director NIST, Hon'ble. Last but not the least, I request Professor Mudali to welcome Professor Partha Sarkar, Director Curriculum Development DPU. Honorable Chief Minister Odisha, Shri Naveen Patnaik, Honorable Minister of State, Food Supplies and Consumer Welfare, Skill Development and Technical Education, Government of Odisha, Shri Sanjay Kumar Das Verma, esteemed Professor Anil Dattatreya Sahasrabudhe, Chairman, All India Council for Technical Education, New Delhi, Revered Professor Ellen Gupta, IAS Principal Secretary to Government, Skill Development and Technical Education Department, Professor M.P. Punia, Director, National Institute of Technical Teachers Training and Research, Chandigarh, Professor Ravi P. Singh, Secretary General, Quality Council of India, distinguished directors and principals of various technical institutes of the state, learned delegates from corporate and academia, members of press and media, ladies and gentlemen, a very good morning to one and all. I'm Amrit Mahanti and I feel privileged to welcome you all on behalf of Biju Patnaik University of Technology, Odisha, and National Institute of Science and Technology, Hon'ble, to the one-day brainstorming workshop on roadmap on technical education in Odisha, present and future perspectives, jointly organized by BPUT and NIST. Well, as a wise quote says, the aim of education is a knowledge, not a fact, but a values. It is on occasions like this we get opportunities to test our knowledge and understanding. We look forward to get an exposure about what the best of the brains think about this very dynamic issue of today's brainstorming session. I now request Professor Shamsundar Patnaik, Vice Chancellor, Biju Patnaik University of Technology, Odisha, to deliver the welcome address.
I am ecstatic and privileged to extend a hearty welcome to our Honorable Chief Minister, Sri Naveen Patnaik. I am grateful to his benign presence here, and I am confident that the people of this August gathering will be immensely benefited out of his presence and his viewpoint, which we will be delivering as a chief guest of this function. My warm welcome to our very solid, thanking, straightforward ministers, Sri Sanjay Kumar Das Verma ji. I also extend warm welcome to the Principal Secretary of Skill Development and Technical Education, Government of Odisha, who could spare his valuable time even on holidays to educate us on those issues which sometimes as academicians we overlook. From the core of my heart, I extend hearty welcome to the Chairman AICT, Professor Harish Sahasrabudin, my own Honorable Director, Professor M.P. Punia, Director of National Institute of Technical Research Training and Research, from where I have come to this university on deputation. I have another person to welcome, who is a visionary person, now heading as Member Secretary of Quality Council of India, directly associated with organizations like TT, ASCOM, so we need his support. So his presence definitely is going to give us a right vision in our roadmap mission. My hearty welcomes to the director and the chairman of various affiliated constituent colleges of this university. We are the major stakeholder of this state in technical education. My welcome to the press media for their wholehearted support, professors, register of the university, faculty members, my dear friends. It is a long-sought mission which was voting from the BPUT initiative. Today people say there is a mushroom growth of engineering. But just compare with our neighboring country, China, where do we start? Our figures are in all respect quite less. So is it that mushroom growth of technical institutions in the country is affecting the quality of our education, or it is something else? That is a question of the day. Why it is happening? How it is happening? If we ponder on this WH, then definitely we'll reach to a state that what should be done and how it should be done and when it should be done and where it should be done. So this is exactly the motive behind of this particular brainstorming session, where only the chairman and principals of the various institutes are present, because this is more towards a policy type of vision document which we would like to prepare as an academic paper, which may be possible to consider as a reference paper at the level of our government. But definitely with the background of that academic industry integration which we did, we have our recommendation paper with us. Integrated with this academic forum recommendation will be definitely is going to generate a good reference paper for any state, and I have the intention of forwarding the same to the chairman AICT as well as to the Ministry of Human Resource Development to see that the state of Odisha has come out with a reference paper which may give you some direction how to cope up with this present scenario. The basic objective of this brainstorming workshop is very clear. It is just to create a roadmap for my university, which has a major stake in this state. 158 colleges under the deputy banner is definitely going to be benefited out of this roadmap. So subsequently, we have many brainstorming sessions. I have my own presentation there. So I don't want to take much time because we have scheduled time today in the inauguration sessions. At the last, I heartily thank everybody their full support, especially to the Honorable Chief Minister who accepted our invitation and could manage some valuable time, and he is today here with us to bless us. Thank you so much, sir, and definitely the university will see that. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, sir. Your thought-provoking address set a perfect platform for our speakers to deliver their presentations today in their respective areas. I now request Professor Ellen Gupta, IAS Principal Secretary to Government, SDN Department, to kindly deliver his address.
Chief guest of the today's function, Honorable Chief Minister of Odisha, Honorable Minister, Skill Development and Technical Education, Food Supplies and Consumer Welfare, Professor Patnaik, BCBPUT, Professor A.D. Sesson, Chairman AICT, Dr. R.P. Singh, Member Secretary QCI, Professor Punia, Director NITTR Punjab, Director, Chairman and Principals of various colleges who are present, professors, lecturers, the entire academic fraternity will be present in this hall. Friends from media, ladies and gentlemen. At the outset, I would like to compliment the BCBPUP to organize this timely workshop or brainstorming session in collaboration with NIST Hon'ble for preparation of a roadmap on technical education in Odisha. Technical education in Odisha, if I would say, has come a long way from pre-independence era. Technical education in Odisha started with setting up a Odisha School of Engineering in 1923 under the aegis of erstwhile Bihar Odisha government. In 1925, the institute produced the first batch of overseers. During the Second World War, in fact, I was reading in one of these documents, the original school, this Odisha School of Engineering, was running day and night in all the three shifts to produce overseers and technocrats to take care of the requirement of Second World War construction and reconstruction. Thereafter, of course, in 1956, after a long gap, the University College of Engineering, Burla came up, which became VSSUT in 2009. And in 1961, in fact, the Honorable Chief Minister Odisha, Shri Biju Patnaik, inaugurated the rural REC Roundkela, which became NIT Roundkela in 2002. Since then, we have the number of colleges have increased. In the government sector, we have 2 universities, 7 engineering colleges, 33 polytechnics, 32 ITIs. In private sector, again, in fact, in Odisha, a couple of universities have come up, like Shiksha Anusandan, XIM, Centurion, and a couple of Shri Shri Ravi Shankar University, which are offering technical degrees. There are 98 engineering colleges in the private sector, 88 polytechnics, and 583 ITIs. It is in this context, and particularly today's brainstorming, which has been organized to prepare the roadmap. In the morning, I was just thinking, why don't we do the SWOT analysis of technical education in Odisha? What are our strengths? What are our weaknesses? What are our opportunities and threats? So that it will be, easier to prepare a roadmap. So in terms of strengths, I was observing that the Odisha government in the recent past has provided the improved accessibility in technical education to our students. Almost all the districts have the ITIs and polytechnics today in Odisha. There is a quantum jump post 2000 in terms of technical institutions under the leadership of the Honorable Chief Minister. Growth in technical education has been both horizontal as well as vertical. Horizontal in terms of the number of, say, ITI engineering colleges, and vertical in terms of the from ITIs to the IIT and Triple IT and NISER at Bhubaneswar, and then now ISER is being set up, and in few days Indian Institute of IIM is going to be set up in few days in Sambalpur. In terms of equity also, that is another strength. Odisha has provided progressive accessibility to the students of the disadvantaged community, SC, ST and women category. SC and ST, ST and SC in professional and technical colleges already they get the reservation to the extent of 12% and 8% respectively. Similarly, in case of polytechnics, they get the reservation 23% and 15%. In addition to that, in each category, 30% of seats are reserved for women. Their fees are reimbursed by the government under the scheme Prerna by the SC/ST department. Similarly, we have also 3% seats reserved for differently abled students. Another strength of Odisha's technical education is reasonable infrastructure which has been provided. You would be happy to know in the last 3 years, the government of Odisha has spent nearly around 800 crores on improvement in infrastructure in the colleges, in the ITIs, in the polytechnics. That is through entirely state funding from the state budget. That's a remarkable. It's not government of India funding, it's our own funding, which has been remarkable. Similarly, another strength of Odisha's technical education is low cost of living, vis-a-vis the other states, maybe Andhra Pradesh and Karnataka. So that is our strength. Better chances and opportunities of employment due to growth of mineral-based industry, thermal power plants, oil refinery, IT industry in Odisha. Almost 6 lakh crores of investment has come to Odisha. So whoever gets technically qualified, at least there are better chances of getting a job here in Odisha. That is the positive side of again our technical education. Next point, next strength comes the linkage with skill development. We have, Odisha Chief Minister Skill Development Mission, under which, now 69 ITIs and around 84 skill development centers are providing skill training. The total target for 5 years is around 11 lakhs. Till now, we have trained around 1.7 lakh youths under skill development, and also during the current year, around 51,000 youths have been trained for skill development. Skill development means improvement in employability, so now they can be, absorbed anywhere in the country or maybe outside. Then we have also set up centers of excellence. In case of civil engineering, it is ITIT Saran. In case of electrical, it is VSSUP Burla. In case of mechanical engineering, CET Bhubaneswar. Even in polytechnics, we have the centers of excellence. So these are couple of the strengths on which we have to capitalize. We have to further strengthen the technical education in Odisha. But simultaneously, there are certain weaknesses, there are certain threats, there are certain challenges which we cannot overlook. And the biggest problem in technical education in Odisha, which in fact already VCDPUT has mentioned, is the exponential growth. The exponential growth in terms of engineering colleges, polytechnics, and ITIs. Out of 1.56 lakh seats, around 88,000 seats are in fact filled up. So nearly 56% remaining 44% seats are vacant. So there is a question in front of us. What should we do with this surplus infrastructure? So that is a question whether we should utilize for skill development. Then there are issues regarding commercialization of education, right infrastructure at right place, non-availability of trained faculty, decreasing job opportunities in terms of global meltdown, and especially in the IT sector, decreasing input base. We have engineering colleges, but at the same time, +2. The students should be available to get admission in the engineering colleges. Then the quality of teachers and research. In fact, I don't know how many of the colleges and universities are devoting time and money to research. In fact, the criteria should be how many national and international journals the papers have been published, how many patents have been registered. That should be the criteria. I would suggest while deliberating during the day, we should also work out an MOU which should be signed between the university and the government in the technical education department. How many patents are to be generated during that time? How many papers are to be written? So that will encourage the quality of the education. Similarly, between the university and the college is also the similar MOU should be signed. So these are the couple of issues and the challenges which, in fact, we need to in fact deliberate throughout the day during the brainstorming session. I wish the entire workshop and the deliberations a grand success, and I hope and believe that there will be good actionable recommendations would emerge by the end of the day on which the government can take action. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your valuable insights. I now take this opportunity of inviting Professor Anil Dattatray Sahasrabudhe, Chairman, All India Council for Technical Education, New Delhi, to convey his message.
Chief guest of today's program, Honorable Chief Minister Sri Naveen Patnaik, Honorable Minister for Skill Development and Technical Education, Sri Sanjay Kumar Das Verma, Vice Chancellor of PPU, Professor Patnaik, Professor R.K. Singh, Member Secretary, Quality Council of India, Professor M.P. Punia, Director NIT Chandigarh, Principal Secretary of State of Odisha, Sri L.N. Gupta, Professor Sangram Mudli, Chairman of NIST, Behrampur, Chairman of different private colleges, principals of different engineering colleges, press and media, ladies and gentlemen. This is a very apt opportunity of organizing a brainstorming workshop to discuss about the future of technical education in the state of Odisha. I think it's the most appropriate time when the technical education in the country is passing through at crossroads. There's a lot of crisis in terms of, as rightly pointed out by Dr. N. Gupta, that there are lots of vacant seats in the economy. This is not true only for Odisha, but it is across the country. About 45 to 50% of the seats in different engineering colleges in the country are lying vacant. Did we start more number of institutes without planning for that? Or is there an opportunity to grab and invite education providers all over the country to attract people from across the globe and make it a center for education in the world? There are different types of possibilities and challenges that exist. We will certainly have to do the SWOT analysis, understand what are our strengths, and based on them, how do we develop ourselves in order to provide the best quality technical education in this country. If you look at various industry bodies like NASCOM, CII, FICCI, there is a complaint about the quality of engineering education provided to our students. As far as the number of seats are concerned, as I said, they have increased manyfold compared to what it was during the time of independence. Thereby, we have ensured that there is access, and also, as mentioned by earlier speakers, there is an equity in terms of providing education to every section of the society across the country. However, when it comes to quality, there has been a problem. And today, rightfully, there are three important segments of this particular initiative who are participating in this brainstorming session. One of them is Professor Singh, who is representing Quality Council of India. We have Professor Punia, who represents NITTR, which trains teachers. Faculty training is a very important aspect. And the third one is skill development. The Honorable Minister himself is available here on the dais, as well as the Higher Education Secretary. I think this is an excellent sangam that has happened here in the form of this particular workshop, which is a brainstorming workshop. There are all these issues which lead to employability of our Indian engineering graduates can be discussed. Future plan of action and the roadmap can be created. and thereby we show the way. I think Odisha has taken the right step. The first state probably to do SSC grand workshop. And the outcome of this certainly would be useful for the entire country to follow suit. I think that's why I congratulate Patnaik Technical University for taking up this particular initiative. As far as various issues are concerned, one of the important issues that we all face is the shortage of faculty and shortage of especially quality faculty with well-trained manpower to produce further the future manpower. And that issue has to be addressed first by all the institutions, whether private or the government. In fact, in our country now, about 85 to 90% of the education providers are from the private sector, so we cannot ignore. Along with the government sector, private sector has to be taken along. But how do we get faculty? Unless people are encouraged to do masters and PhD, we will not get good quality faculty. So there are schemes which are required to be formulated wherein we will be able to attract the bright students when they are following their undergraduate education, identify them well in advance, and motivate them to take up teaching as a profession. Some time ago, we used to have teachers with whom we were respected. Today, people say that teachers are not respected. The respect is not to be forced upon, but it has to be earned by us, by our behavior, our actions, and therefore, training of the teachers is very, very significant and important. And for that, AICT on its part is trying to conduct certain programs by which young graduates, as soon as they complete, there may be a possibility of guaranteed employment after their masters and ask them to do an MTech program, PhD program, and come back and join the engineering profession as a teacher. There is a possibility of reform in the examination system. Most of the time, what we test is the knowledge that he has only by hearted or he omits it in the examination. What is required is how does he really understand what is the philosophy behind a particular aspect and is able to make use of that in terms of applications when it comes to practice in engineering. And that's why we require a lot of modification in the examination system. India has signed Washington Accord, thereby we are part of the process of global accreditation system. The National Board of Accreditation is the national agency for accrediting our programs. My earnest appeal to all the colleges is we must start applying for the accreditation and get our colleges accredited. Thereby, our engineers will be treated on par with the rest of the world. And the employment opportunities will not only be available in India, but they're all over the globe. And that is a challenge which we should all accept. And there are difficulties. It takes a lot of time, but nevertheless, it's a great learning process. Even if an institution gets 2 years accreditation and not 5 years accreditation, the very philosophy of what needs to be done is understood through this particular process. We have another important segment where we will have to work out. Rather than depending on larger industries to employ our graduates, how do we empower our young students to become entrepreneurs? And therefore, spirit of innovation and entrepreneurship has to be inbuilt into the institutions, thereby our young graduates, instead of seeking jobs, will be able to create jobs for the future. So that is another interesting area where we need to work on. As a regulator, AICT has been approving the colleges, increasing the seats, giving penalty when they are not following the rules. But I think more than the role of a regulator, the role of AICT has to get transformed as a mentor and a facilitator. And in fact, the recent Tower Committee report, which has submitted its report to the government, is talking about how do we make most of the institutions in the country autonomous, how do we empower these institutions to excel, thereby rather than having an inspection raj, we should have a place where all of them compete with each other and try to perform to their best abilities. There are various schemes which have been undertaken. I would like to mention briefly 4 schemes. One of them is called GAN, which is global initiative for academic networking. Under this, Ministry of HRD has opened up the doors for people from abroad to come here for a short duration of 1 week to 2 weeks and give a state-of-the-art course that they give in the US or foreign universities to our students and faculty members. and the entire funding is going to be borne by the government. I think this is a wonderful scheme. Applications are invited from different engineering colleges to identify an excellent faculty member from abroad, have a timetable schedule which works for both you and him, and the funding will come from the government. We have a scheme where mentoring scheme is going to be set up. In the process, institutions who are already performing well, rather than only performing well for themselves, how do they mentor and support another 8 to 10 institutions in the neighborhood? For that also funding would be made available. I think these are the kind of things which would be helpful. I'm sure all these schemes will be made use of by the participants who are here. And I wish this workshop all the best, absolute success, and this would be a path to be followed by the other states in the country. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for your stirring remarks on the pertinent issue. I take this opportunity of now requesting Honorable Minister of State, Food Supplies and Consumer Welfare, Skill Development and Technical Education, Government of Odisha, Shri Sanjay Kumar Das Verma, to share his views on the workshop. Sir, please.
ये महाराज उत्सव माननीय मुख्यमंत्री अतिथि ओडिशा मुख्यमंत्री श्री नवीन पटनायक प्रिंसिपल सेक्रेटरी स्किल डेवलपमेंट टेक्निकल डिपार्टमेंट श्री एल गुप्ता वाइस चांसलर बीपीयूटी प्रोफेसर एस पटनायक चेयरमैन एआईसीटी प्रोफेसर एडी सेसर Secretary General Quality Council of India, Sri R.P. Singh, Director Nita Chandigarh, Professor Punia, Director NIST, Sri Mudri, एवं एटी उपस्थित समस्त अतिथिवृंद एवं ओडिशा विभिन्न अनुष्ठान समस्त डायरेक्टर चेयरमैन फैकल्टी एवं आम डिपार्टमेंट समस्त अधिकारीवृंद एवं गणमाध्यम प्रतिनिधिवृंद ओडिशा वैषयिक शिक्षार रोडमैप प्रस्तुत निमंते आयोजित कर्मशाला एक समय उपयोगी उचित पदक्षेप एपरि आयोजन विजु पट्टनायक वैषयिक विश्वविद्यालय मो धन्यवाद जनाऊँ सामाजिक अर्थनैतिक उत्तरण शिक्षा एक सर्वोत्कृष्ट माध्यम वर्तमान परिप्रेक्षी अर्थनैतिक गोलईकरण वैषयिक यांत्रिक नवीकरण शिल्प आवश्यकता और जातीय नीति सब ज्ञान और कौशल पूर्ण संज्ञा निरूपण कर श्रम बजार में परिवर्तन वृत्तिर गोलईकरण और सर्टिफिकेशन अंतरराष्ट्रीय स्वीकृति परिप्रेक्षी में विश्वविद्यालय लक्ष्य उद्देश्य आभिमुख्य और कार्यधारा को पूर्वावलोकन करने बाध्य एक प्रगतिशील राज्य भाव में पारंपरिक और अपारंपरिक क्षेत्र को समन्वय करने को निकट अतीत अनेक प्रयास शिल्प आवश्यकता नीति दक्षता और कौशल और समाज संयोग अनेक पदक्षेप नियोजनक्षम वैषयिक मानव संबल संपर्कित विभिन्न प्रसंग अभिप्रेत युव मानव संबल अग्रणी राज्य भाव में राज्य युवक युवती मान विश्व प्रतियोगिता समर्थन करने उद्देश्य सर्वश्रेष्ठ वैषयिक ज्ञान कौशल प्रदान लक्ष्य अर्थनीतिर द्रुत गोल राज्य द्रुत शिल्पायन परिप्रेक्षी उच्च शिक्षा क्षेत्र में उच्च वैषयिक शिक्षा क्षेत्र में अतीव गुरुत्वपूर्ण होती गत दशक उच्च शिक्षा क्षेत्र में वैषयिक और वृत्तिगत शिक्षा गुरुत्वपूर्ण और प्रमुख अंग भाग देखा संख्या दृष्टि अनेक छात्र छात्री प्रति आकर्षित होगा देखा एक प्रतियोगितापूर्ण आधुनिक अर्थनीतिर परिचालन समर्थ मानव संबल सृष्टि निमंते वैषयिक शिक्षा माध्यम एकांत आवश्यक यह दृष्टि रखी राज्य सरकार उद्यम क्षमता संप्रसारण गुणात्मक अभिवृद्धि निज इच्छा वैषयिक शिक्षा अवहेलित गोष्ठी छात्र छात्री सुविधा प्रदान सहित चाकरी आशायी छात्र छात्री नियोजकता वृद्धि अंतर्भुक्त गत 10 वर्ष मध्य सरकारी वैषयिक शिक्षानुष्ठान गुड़िकर भित्तिभूमि परिचालन आखि दृष्टिया उन्नति होती राज्य विभिन्न अंचल वैषयिक और वृत्तिगत शिक्षा द्रुत अभिवृद्धि होती राज्य शिक्षा क्षेत्र में परिणत होती घरोई शिक्षा क्षेत्र में वैश्विक विश्वविद्यालय प्रतिष्ठा सह बहु संख्यार वैश्विक वृत्तिगत महाविद्यालय पॉलिटेक्निक प्रतिष्ठा निमंते यथेष्ट पुंजी निवेश कर निकट आईआईटी नाइजर आईएम भली जातीय स्तर अनुष्ठान ओडिशा रे प्रतिष्ठा होइछि। द्रुत शिल्पायन परिप्रेक्षी में कुशल मानव संबल चाहिदा परिपूर्ण निमंते वैश्विक वृत्तिगत शिक्षा क्षेत्र प्रति विशेष दृष्टि देवा दरकार। उच्च वैश्विक शिक्षा क्षेत्र को बहु संख्या प्रवेश उत्साहित करने विश्वविद्यालय स्तर में गवेषणा केन्द्रित उच्च शिक्षार संप्रसारण और दृढ़ीकरण अग्रगतिर सठिक मार्ग एनिमंते पर्याप्त पुंजी निवेश उच्च वैश्विक शिक्षानुष्ठान गुड़िक गुणात्मक उत्कर्ष हासिल संपृक्त अंशीदार विशेषकर शिल्पर सक्रिय अर्थपूर्ण योगदान जरूरी। उत्कर्ष राष्ट्र प्रचेषा राष्ट्र आह्वानपूर्ण कारण केवल संबल व्यवस्था उच्च शिक्षार गुणात्मक उत्कर्ष हासिल उच्च शिक्षानुष्ठान पर्याप्त संख्यार उत्तम अध्यापक उपलब्धता विशेष गुरुत्वपूर्ण। गत दशक में अपेक्षित द्रुत अभिवृद्धि हासिल कर वैश्विक विश्वविद्यालय महाविद्यालय पॉलिटेक्निक और छात्र छात्री संख्या सह अध्यापक अभिवृद्धि तालमेल रही है। वैश्विक शिक्षा क्षेत्र अध्यापक मान बड़ अभाव एक क्षेत्र में गुणात्मक अभिवृद्धि प्रमुख प्रतिबंधक होइछि। अध्यापक मानव वृद्धि निमंते तालीम और पुनर्तालीम संस्कृति प्रवर्तन लक्ष्य शिक्षानुष्ठान और शिल्पर सक्रिय सहयोग विश्वविद्यालय अध्यापन एकाडेमी प्रतिष्ठा दरकार। Odisha is the most happening state in technical education sector. During 60s, there are 3 engineering colleges in Odisha. Now, the growth of engineering college has been remarkable. More than 80 colleges have been set up. We have 2 technical universities apart from there are 11 other universities. Odisha has become an educational hub in technical education in Eastern India. Bhubaneswar emerged as a hub in IT sector. To growth has been remarkable. It has been made possible by an enabling policy framework and throughout the role of government under the able leadership of Honorable Chief Minister Shri Naveen Patnaik. In recent time, various steps have been taken for benefit of technical education, namely capacity expansion of government engineering college have been done which provides technical education to poor and educated students. Infrastructure development have been done to the tune of 800 crores over a period of 3 years. Center of Excellence or Center of Advanced Studies in universities and colleges have been established to carry out study and research in field of electrical engineering, studies and non-life science. Steps are being taken for creation of innovation centers, knowledge centers, and industrial incubation centers. There are some challenges before us for which we have to formulate strategies. I want to highlight some points. Supply-demand aspect should be taken into consideration. A mechanism should be put in place to study the demand for trade and commerce and academic reports need to be designed. Here I want to focus on relook at course of study and syllabi, curriculum design and need-based academic curriculum. Quality technical education is need of the hour. AICT should come forward to achieve the objectives of quality in technical education, taking into consideration national and international perspectives. Faculty composition and selection of in prime importance. Faculty development program, including orientation of the teaching staff, is required. Government, PSU and corporate sectors should come forward to invest in a deep way for achieving excellence in technical education. Last but not least, employability should be given a top priority. Government of India should establish one skill university in every state. Odisha has given suggestion in subgroup of CMs in India. As गोटे दिन धरी जो 6टी सब्जेक्ट आज आलोचना आज दिन धरी चलिबो आशा करूची ओडिसा रो वैश्विक शिक्षा क्षेत्र में ये गोटे रोड मैप आम प्रस्तुत कर आज सम्मेलन मु सफलता कामना कर विशेष कर माननीय मुख्यमंत्री श्री नवीन पट्टनायक महोदय एवं एआईसीटी चेयरमैन एवं अन्य अधिकारी वृंद उपस्थित अच्छा विशेष कर ओडिशा माननीय मुख्यमंत्री श्री नवीन पट्टनायक महोदय को धन्यवाद जनाऊँगी से मूल्यवान समय ये सम्मेलन धन्यवाद बंदे प्रधान।
Thank you very much, sir, for your inspiring and informative words. Now I would request the esteemed director NITTTR Chandigarh and esteemed VCTBOD to start the formal processing of signing of the MOU with NITTTR Chandigarh, which is specially aimed and foresighted for the betterment and progress of the faculty members of the university. Thank you, Professor Puri. Thank you, Professor Patnaik. It's now a great privilege on my part to invite Honorable Chief Minister Odisha, Shri Naveen Patnaik, to share his views on the workshop. Sir.
Honorable Minister Sri Sesson, Principal Secretary, Skill Development and Technical Education, Sri L. Gupta, Vice Chancellor, PUT, Professor S.S. Patnaik, Chairman AICTE, Professor A.D. Shaharsha, Director NITTR Chandigarh, Professor Punya, Secretary General Quality Council of India, Shri R.P. Singh, Director NIST, Professor Mudali, distinguished academicians, ladies and gentlemen. I am delighted to be here today to inaugurate the workshop organized by G.T. Patnaik University of Technology and NIST on present and future perspectives of technical education. A good education model is always essential to ensure that students grow and contribute towards the development process. There should be continuous innovation in the process and content of learning. Education system can no longer remain grounded in theory. Research, inquiry, creativity, innovation, techno-savvy approach, entrepreneurship, and adaptation to contemporary developments are ingredients necessary for technical education. The last 100 years have generated huge knowledge data and value addition in a continuous process. We must give our students the skills with which they find a way through the ocean of knowledge that we have created and continue with lifelong learning. Technology has made education easy but competitive. If we do not harness our current opportunity and go ahead with perspective of the future, we will lag behind as global economic and technological development is highly correlated to higher education, to higher technical education, economic globalization, technological innovation, industry-ready requirements, and national policies are redefining knowledge and skill expectation in the present scenario. The changing scenario is in the labor market, globalization of jobs, and international recognition of certification has required us to revisit our present strategies in technical education. With fast industrialization and globalization, the engineering and professional segments need to be treated differently to cater to the needs for quality and skilled manpower. Along with quality faculty in technical education, the university should take expeditious steps for revision of curriculum and syllabus with a thrust on soft skill development, industry exposure, and interdisciplinary studies. Special care should be taken for encouraging research and development activities in the institutions to suit the needs of industry. The curriculum should also adhere to the non-negotiable academic calendar. The state has taken many initiatives in the recent past to integrate formal and non-formal education sectors. Initiatives have been taken to define the skills relevant to industry requirements in order to address the emerging issues of employable technical manpower. The state is aiming at providing the best technical education and skill to the youth to compete in global scenarios. The future technical education should focus on competency-based learning, higher order reasoning, outcome-based education, employable technical skills, work attitude, ethical practices, industry-related credentials, and other relevant issues. I'm happy the BPUG has taken an opportune initiative to bring out a document on technical education for the next 10 years. I'm sure the recommendation will be very significant in shaping our future technical education. Thanks.
Thank you very much, sir, for enlightening the audience with such insights, and I'm quite sure that they are now very brightly looking forward to the brainstorming sessions ahead. I now would request esteemed VC, VCUT Professor Patnaik to kindly felicitate Honorable Chief Minister Odisha with a memento as a token of respect and appreciation. I would now request Professor Patnaik to kindly felicitate Honorable Minister of State for Supplies and Consumer Welfare, Skill Development and Education, Technical Education Government of Odisha, Shri Sanjay Kumar Das. I request again Professor Patnaik to kindly felicitate Revered Chairman AICT New Delhi, Professor K.T. Sahasrapati. I will now request esteemed Registrar Deputy Professor Altaf Khan to kindly felicitate Professor Ellen Gupta, IAS Principal Secretary Government, SGNT Department. I now request Professor Khan to kindly felicitate Professor N.P. Punia, Director, NIPTR, Chandigarh. I request Professor Khan to felicitate again Professor R.P. Singh, Secretary General, Quality Council of India. I would now request Professor Sangram Mudali, Director and IST, to kindly felicitate Professor S.S. Patnaik, VCPPUT. I now request Director Curriculum Development DPUT, Professor Partha Sarkar, to kindly felicitate Professor Khan, Registrar DPUT. I now request Professor Sarkar to felicitate Professor Sangram Mudali, Director and IST, Varanasi. I will now request Professor Mudali to felicitate Professor Partha Sarkar, Director, Curriculum Development. I now request Professor Sangram Mudali, NIST, Swaranpur, to kindly propose a vote of thanks for the inaugural session.
On behalf of the Patnaik University of Technology and the National Institute of Science and Technology at Sesson, I propose a vote of thanks to our Honorable Chief Minister, Shri Naveen Patnaik, for kindly gracing the inauguration program of this brainstorming workshop on technical education. So your words of wisdom will be borne in our minds as we proceed to make a roadmap for technical education in Odisha for the next 10 years. A vote of thanks to Professor K.T. Sahasrapati, the Chairman of All India Council for Technical Education, whose vision is paramount as he steers the course of technical education in the nation. We'll have the pleasure to interact with you in the afternoon. We thank Shri Sanjay Davarma, Honorable Minister of Food Supplies and Consumer Welfare, Skill Development and Technical Education, whose continued support to technical institutions in their quest for quality technical education is unparalleled. We thank Professor Punia, the Director of NITTR Chandigarh, for his kind acceptance of our invitation and for the MOU signed with our university. We are also grateful to Professor R.P. Singh, the Secretary General of the Quality Control of India, for his gracious presence at this morning, and we look forward to hearing him in this particular afternoon. We thank Professor S.S. Patnaik, our Honorable Vice Chancellor of Patnaik University, under whose dynamic leadership we have taken up the challenge to make PPUT as one of the finest universities of our country. We thank our Registrar, Professor Altaf Khan, the Director of Curriculum Development, Professor Partha, the Director of Placement, Professor Motilal, the Deans of EPUP, and especially Dr. Ajit Pandar for organizing this program by working on the 24/7 for the last few days. Thanks very much to the assembled media, print and electronic, which will bring the deliberations of this workshop before the stakeholders, the students and their parents. Finally, we thank you very much, the chairmen and principals for all technical institutions of Odisha, from engineering, pharmacy, management, architecture and others who are attending this workshop with a lot of hope and aspirations. Your passion and commitment to technical education, in spite of numerous odds, is really inspiring. Thank you all. Thank you very much.
సరే